Welcome to the Startup Grind.
I want to apologize first to Joe for jumbling the date a little bit. Why are you not up front? Alright.
Google, they're a startup tech company.
So that's what happens when you rely on big tech startups for event logistics. However, I'm confident that it's in the dugout. Alright, but I'm confident that every single person, perhaps except for Dan, probably knows everything you're going to find is going to leave here not only inspired, but with new and massive wealth of knowledge that we're going to learn today from Joe. I have had the pleasure of having a couple of conversations with Joe in the past where we were simply just killing time and we just had to learn about each other, and I gotta admit that I left there beyond impressed with what he turned a simple problem and need that he had in his business into this epic, massive, awesome, robust organization. And that is the reason why I asked him to do this with me today. So, I tailored the questions tonight to avoid having to do a big long intro. So as we go through this, we're going to learn about Joe's past, his present, his future, and we're probably going to talk a little bit about ACV. So, without further ado, we're going to dive right in. All right? Thanks for dressing up.
I was going to say, who wore it better?
All right, Joe. Okay, so we're going to start with basic questions, dive into ACV, and then wrap it up with some really grab bag kind of off the top kind of stuff. Because I think that while we get to learn a lot about you and your business, I think that learning a lot about you personally is also just valuable. So, and also just interesting. So, all right. So, we'll get you out of bed in the morning, except for a screaming baby.
That's my intake.
And just tell me about your morning routine and what you found is helpful is and what really drives you to get up every day.
Sleeping baby, or no, screaming baby number one. Kick in the ass from my wife number two. To get up and change baby, but I used to be better and I need to get better. I'm going to use this as an opportunity, just so you know, to make public statements and say, I'm going to get better at this, and now you guys are all going to hold me accountable. So, I previously, a few months ago, was going to jiu-jitsu at Buffalo United Martial Arts down at Riverworks, like 2-3 days a week. I got sloppy, I need to get my life together and start doing that again. It helps when the baby sleeps, and I can get up early and do that. But that was awesome. But no, I mean, what gets me up in the morning? I get up and, I want to spend time with my wife and my baby, and I also want to get the heck to work because I'm just pumped about it. And every day it's like something new to go and, tear into. So a lot of days I kind of foolishly, but skip breakfast and just run out of the house and can't wait to get down here and drive my wife crazy. But that's most mornings. So I'm not working out, which has been an unfortunate reality for the past month or two. We're going to change that. That's the morning routine.
Anybody else have a similar morning? Anybody in here do jiu-jitsu? Really?
My belly would get too motivated.
I'm going to stay right away from that.
Okay,
I'm
so
going to quickly skirt.
Well, okay, so at the moment, or in the past, have you had any mentors that you really looked up to? Are they still around? And if so, how did you find them?
This is going to sound weird, but I've had old men figures in my life that have been really positive influences for me. I'm an old soul, so I tend to associate better with them. I really, really wish I took pictures of all these cars, because there's thousands of them now. And every one, it's funny, it's so lame, but they all have a story, because it was the chase of buying, it was the thrill of buying it somewhere, and then it's always a story with who you sold it to. Oh, I remember that one, and those people came from 4 states away with a trailer, and it's endless. But I kind of lose sight of it because there's been so many of them. But they're all fun. all neat.
It looks fantastic.
That is an old man car. That is definitely.
I don't know if you remember the scene in Great Gatsby where they're blazing into the city from the egg, and it was yellow.
It was yellow, yeah.
And it was just kind of like that. It was like, but he was blazing down the street. Kind of wasn't the same, but it was magical. So I'm gonna do something a little bit different here. I'm gonna open it up to questions now about Joe's coming to Buffalo, his personal life, anything. If anybody has any, let's do it now. But we're gonna open it up again at the end. But I just don't want you to lose sight of any questions we have now. Go ahead.
So I want to steal that one because I feel like that's universal, that thought you said of here being the largest used car dealer in a shit town. And I've always heard people describe that in the sense of like, and then something happened, like that critical moment. But can you think of anything that was in your thought process that finally made you do that push that others couldn't use?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because I had the same thing like less than a year later when I went to go work at this big corporate dealership and thought it was going to be great and go, oh my God, what did I do? Like, I'm an entrepreneurial guy, and I injected myself into this situation that it didn't even have a pulse of entrepreneurship. I mean, it was like, sit at your desk, know your role, don't say that, we don't want new ideas. And look, they make a ton of money, they run a great organization, but guys like me don't fit there. Okay, right? I mean, I was the problem in that situation. They had a good thing going. But I had the same like reaction, like I gotta find something to do to get out of here. But I already had the idea, and when I say that, it's like I knew when I had my used car dealership that I wanted to own an auction. Now the problem is it's so completely out of reach. When you look at these physical car auctions, which most consumers have no visibility into, you look at these things, they're giant, and they're either owned by these huge publicly traded companies, or they're owned by like one unbelievably wealthy family, and it's been in their family, for 3 generations. Those are the only two. You can't borrow money to go and build one of these things. You can't afford to pave 300 acres of blacktop and put a building up and start from scratch. It doesn't work, right? So, but when I had my dealership and I was going to these auctions every week, I'd go and it's like going to the casino. I mean, car buyers are addicted to going there. It's the purest form of capitalism. It is a market. It is unbelievably like fast-paced, and it's a roller coaster. And there were days where I love it and thought I just made I just acquired all this inventory. I'm going to go make $20,000 in profit on these couple of cars. There were other days that I wanted to jump off something because I either got my ass kicked trying to sell something, or had to take a big loss, or the market was too strong and I couldn't afford to buy anything. But the fascinating thing, and I think most people just don't take the moment to like step back and look around. The auction was making money. Whether I was having the worst day possible or the best day possible, they're getting their little, it's not little, but they're getting a couple $100s a transaction just for providing the service because people showed up there to transact. So it's like the casino, they just keep taking their little piece, nobody really feels it, they're providing a service in some way. Man, how do I do that? Because here I am, the used car dealer, and I can make a nice living, but I'm just a pawn in their game, right? And then I went to go work for the new car dealership, and I got to see the other side of the equation, so somebody that's much more focused on selling the inventory. And I didn't think they had pain, and I realized they have a lot of pain. So I was like, there's an opportunity for both sides. And I'm a big believer, again, like a simple mantra, but like, if you're going to build a business, it's got to add value to everybody that you serve. You can swindle people. You can. I'm sure I've probably been guilty of it before too. Like, you can sell a used car, right? And you can take advantage of somebody and make a quick $2,000 or something, knowing that it's not that great a car. That person's not coming back. You know what I mean? So like, you can't build a business on. In general, 99 out of 100 cars that I sold, they were all really good cars. We did the very best we could. So I believe we did add value, but like that's a fundamental. You can't get a business off the ground and have it last any amount of time if it's not truly adding value. And that's when I really kind of came up with the idea of ACV. I go, I'm looking at all the pain that the sellers have, I'm looking at all the pain that the buyers have. And no matter how I beat this thing up, this is just a win-win all around. And that's when I really felt compelled
good time to switch to ACV. So, let's talk about ACV now. For those of you that are, just getting to know Joe or you're not working the building, I'm going to ask Joe to just do a brief description as to what ACV Auctions actually does and how it works.
We can't just play the 43 North footage, right?
Fortunately,
Oh, all right. So here's the pitch. ACV is a wholesale car auction for car dealers only that allows them to trade used car trade-in inventory between the sellers, which are new car dealerships that took in trades that they don't plan on keeping, and selling them to primarily independent used car dealers who want that inventory because it fits the kind of stuff that they sell. We accomplish that with live 20-minute sporadic auctions that are done right on the smartphone. So we provide near instant liquidity of these cars by doing a quick condition report on them that the app walks you through. And as soon as that condition report's done, you press send to auction. A couple hundred used car dealers receive a ping on their phone in real time. Says, hey, this 2006 Honda Accord with 94,000 miles is now available, and it's got 20 minutes left on it. Read the condition report. If it's something as a used car dealer that you're interested in, because it's a car you think you can make money on, bid right then and there. So we cut out, the way these physical auctions work, you have to ship the car there. They're only run once a week or bi-weekly, so you got all this time, and then the cars just roll across the auction block, and they're on the auction block for like 30 or 60 seconds. We also don't stand in the way of dealers doing the process that they might have had. Our dealers still go to auctions and sell cars, our dealers still go to physical auctions and buy cars. That's okay. We like to get more and more of their business, but our business is strictly transactional. That's how we make our revenue. There's no monthly fees. We design this to be no barrier to entry. We want to add value. If we're not adding value, stop using us, or because it's not working. But it's not going to cost you anything. We are a success-based business.
Did that do it for everybody?
Everybody know what ACV does?
Okay. What does ACV stand for?
It stands for actual cash value. It is an industry term. So when a car is getting traded in, what the used car manager does is they go and appraise the car to come up with what's the ACV. So what I found fascinating was they do their spot appraisal of the vehicle, they do their walk around and kind of guess on what it's worth to the most accurate degree possible. And then a week or two later it ends up at an auction and it might sell for exactly that, it might sell for 1,000 more, it might sell for 1,000 less, it might get no bids. So that actual cash value is really an estimated cash value. The idea with ACV, the app, was that we could close that gap, right? We could actually get a crowdsourced, guaranteed buyer in place on that car before they even need to send it to auction, or before they even need to take the thing in on trade, they can know exactly what it's worth.
Anybody have any idea what that noise is?
Elephant.
It's an elephant? That we can't see. Okay. All right. So when you realized that you had
Neil's going to edit this, by the way.
Yeah.
Right, Neil?
We had a rocky start, so.
So when you identified an opportunity, right? You had your initial idea for ACV, the app. Perhaps you didn't have the entire idea yet, but you saw an opportunity. What was the first thing you did?
I completely obsessed about it. I didn't sleep over it. I could not get it out of my mind. I would go on these long runs, and I would just keep thinking, because there's all this nuance to what we do. And the physical auctions have been around for, I don't know, 50, 80 years. They've got it pretty dialed in. They handle the titles, they handle the payments, they handle the transportation. I've seen, I'm not some genius for coming up with this idea, believe me. Other people have tried to do it. We have some competitors. This is not completely uncharted territory. But where physical auction alternatives have fallen apart historically, where they failed to execute, is you need a referee in the middle of this transaction. Used car dealers, they're competitors, they don't really trust each other, they want to do business, but, so because of that, you need a moderator. And a lot of these tech companies that were like, oh, we'll just like post all your inventory and it should sell. It doesn't, right? You need someone there to facilitate, you need someone to motivate, you need someone to negotiate. And if you don't do that, the thing just flatlines. So we're way in the trenches on these transactions. We do what it takes to get it done, and our dealers actually appreciate that. They need it, it's necessary. You asked a different question. You asked, what did you ask?
What was the first thing you did?
Well, right, so how I got to that point was saying that, like, I obsessed about, my point was, I would go on these long runs, and I would try and shoot holes in my head. I'm like, well, how are we going to handle the titles? How are we going to get the titles? Maybe we don't need to handle that. No, we need to handle the title. Well, what are we going to do about payment? How are we going to ensure that cars don't get picked up before they're paid for? So it was all this, like, kind of like if-then type thinking, which I'm not trained in, but it was just, I tried to beat the thing up endlessly. And the more I tried to beat it up, the more I go, well, we could do this, we could do that. It's like I just kept coming up with solutions, and I tried to be as hard on myself as possible because I was completely, compelled by this thing. I gotta beat this up every way possible, and it's like the more I beat it up, I hit some roadblocks, and then I just kept blasting through them with other ideas, and that only intensified when I started talking to other people that also had really good ideas.
So are there any, we talked about your competitive edge, but are there any, big risks that you're facing at this time? We've
got a core product that works. We've sold thousands and thousands of cars. We sell a lot of cars every day. Our risk is really on ourselves to focus on the goal of what this company needs to be. And it's hard to do because there's shiny objects all the time. There's a lot of things that come in sideways. This could be it. Turns out being nothing. But getting unified, we've got we're over 60 employees now, we're building an executive team, we brought George on, there's Dan, myself, there's Jack, we got a VP of sales, this guy Mike, who's great. But keeping everybody kind of focused, especially being a high growth company when our biggest risk is probably just letting too much time go by. We've got an opportunity, we've got a lot of momentum, we got a lot of money in the bank, fortunately. We're very blessed to have. But now we got to do something really great. That's the risk is on us, the opportunity's on us, but it all falls on our shoulders.
So that's not the worst risk to have.
I don't think so. Look, competition is fine. Competition drives us to be better. It's okay. That doesn't scare me. There's nothing you can do about it. You got to focus on the things that you have control over. I don't have control over some other company, raising a ton of money and trying to eat our lunch. They're going to do it. They're going to do it. All we can do is execute.
So it kind of sounds like you're in a comfortable position now, but on your way up, have you ever considered partnerships or aligning yourself with somebody else, teaming up with somebody in the community or globally, whatever? Have you considered this, or have you always been kind of noticed the grindstone on your own?
We're open to finding partners that can actually help us execute on our goal, but this isn't something that I would go and say about every company, but I don't think there's anybody that's going to get ACV where it needs to be from some handout partnership to just spark them out of nowhere. We got to build this ourselves. If we can partner with a company where it's mutually beneficial, great, but we're not planning on that. You lose control with partnerships. A lot of these companies we've learned, these big shiny objects that are, oh, if only we could get all their buyers on our platform, wouldn't that be great? They don't move at the same speed. They've got layers and layers of bureaucracy and legal, and you just spin your wheels. It's like, where would I have been if I didn't waste 50 hours or 100 hours chasing that? So, I think there's opportunities out there, but I'm trying not to distract myself with that.
So ACV is growing, I think we all know that, and they are hiring at an amazing rate. In fact, a lot of my friends are now employees of ACV, and they love life, let me tell you. But as this,
they probably don't interface directly with me.
But okay, so ACV, and I'm just quoting this. I read this. I read this, I believe it was Business First, but ACV Auctions is the fastest growing startup company in Buffalo, raising about $21 million in angel and venture capital financing and bringing home a $1 million grand prize after winning the 43 North Business Plan competition in 2015. Well, right? What is next for ACV?
I think not raising any more money for the foreseeable future. Like to hang on to the ownership that we each respectively have in the company. But that's what you sign up for with this stuff. And we're having the best possible outcome that we could ever expect. So I don't feel bad about any of that. What's next for ACV is really just hunkering down and getting aligned, building out our core executive team. And we're learning every day, but we got to be really smart. We got to be really data driven. We got to be really, really focused. And this is all like, I'm saying it like everybody else needs to do it. I need to do it. I need to do it more than anybody, and just getting buttoned up. And 2 years ago, it was Dan and I sitting around our kitchen tables at this point in time. I mean, really, right? It was 2015. We launched and sold our first car on June 1st, 2015. So we're not even 2 years into doing this. I mean, the pace at which this is growing and the asks of the people running this company change monthly. So like, there's a reason I had to bring George in to run this company. It's way over my head right now, and that's okay. I'm fine with it. I'll learn. I'll be around for the next one. Like, I'm still in this company if I want to, but like, when you're reporting the board and you're bringing on $15 million, like, you gotta know what the hell you're doing with that. Great idea. We got it to a great point. We're growing it, but now it's just like, get buttoned up and build a real organization here. We're not a startup anymore. And I wish it went slower from the standpoint of not actually slower, but I wish like each day felt longer and I could have hung on to it. I can't believe we're already like over here. You know what I mean? Like, oh, now you're through your Series B, and like, go, go, go. It's like, oh, we were just a little cute company having fun. Those days are done. Like that's in the past, man. Strap on boots.
So what I see is Joe building his dream team, right? Not only to fill the gaps and to fill the void, which you are confidently can say you couldn't have handled this one, but you will in the future. So you're building your dream team, and can you just tell us a little bit about, obviously you started right with Dan, but who's on the dream team, and what do they bring to the table?
George has been instrumental. So George Shimon is our CEO. He adds a level of professionalism that wasn't previously there. And to a large degree, I'm following his lead on this. I mean, he absolutely believes we need an unbelievable CFO to run the company. That's great. I've never interfaced with a CFO before. I don't really have that experience. I look at the caliber of the candidates that are considering the position, and I'm blown away. So that's really humbling. But we don't need 20 people on our executive team. We need 5 or 6 people that really know what they're doing. We need some big thinkers, which I consider myself in that category, and we also need some really, really buttoned up people to help keep us on the rails. But George would have a much better defined answer than that, but that's what I'm looking for. I'm really looking for some people that can harness my energy and say, that's great, Joe. Like, I get it now. Like, let's figure out how to do that in an intelligent way that's really thought through.
You have to be doing something to make something happen. We have far too many dreamers out there and not enough doers. So, in your opinion, how does one go about transitioning from a dreamer to a doer?
I don't know if everybody's really capable of that. And that's not an insult. I think it's just some people can't stop. I'm one of them. It's a blessing and a curse. But if you have an itch, you gotta scratch it. And that's always been my, and that is totally a Tim Ferriss quote, but it's very relevant. Like, I can't see something that's not right and leave it alone. I just can't. I think my wife is unbelievably accommodating. I think if you're going to do anything like the stuff that I do, you either have to be single or you have to have a spouse who trusts you implicitly and is unbelievably flexible with your neuroticism, maybe is the right word. I don't know. I mean, I'm a little nuts, right? So, and I know that, and I can tone it down from time to time, but we've been through like 5 houses in 8 years or 9 years. Every one of them, you know, I buy in a condition where it's depressed and I can add value to it, and then like we make it better, and then I sell it, and then move on to the next. And so like, and that's been my life with cars too. Like, I don't just buy cars to flip cars. I buy cars opportunistically to add value to them, to make them better, to resell them for a profit. So it's hard for me to like just see something that I know I can make better and just like ignore it. That's part of that just doer mentality. I think entrepreneurial, you know, is great, but it's like, it feels like such a loaded term to me. That's why I just like to dumb it down and say, like, if you look at how Dan and I got to the position that we're in right now with ACV, none of it feels like, I don't want to say this right. We just did what made sense to do, and we just kept pushing forward. Like, we said we were going to build it, and he, like, you know, tapped his friends and resources that he knows, and like, we started building a product. I'm like, all right, I was paying guys in cash or, you know, make-believe equity, and we just did it, right? We didn't like sit around and like think endlessly about, well, is it gonna work or isn't it gonna work? And I don't know. You get nowhere. You talk yourself right out of it. You miss opportunities because you rationalize. You're gonna make a lot, if you follow the path that I'm, you're gonna make a lot of mistakes. I made so many mistakes, big, costly, unbelievable screw-ups. And it hurts, right? But if you don't do that, you don't learn. And if you can learn and recover, you won't make that same mistake again. I mean, that at least I can confidently say. But even the first day that we sold cars, like, here we are with this app, right? And it's built, supposedly it works, and like I had like 40, I don't even know how we got to this point. If you asked me to go do this now, I'd probably say, yeah, that seems crazy. I went around Buffalo week after week, and everybody thinks like, oh, I'm from Buffalo and I knew all these guys. I didn't know any of them. I was here for like 6 months. You know what I mean? Working in a new car dealership that I went to one new car dealership. Like, I didn't interface with everybody. Right? And we went around and sold. We got people signed up for ACV, signed up, registered, app downloaded on their phone. There wasn't even cars to buy. Like, I was selling complete vaporware, and I don't even know how the hell I did that, right? I wouldn't even ask anybody to do that. That seems like total lunacy, and that's what we did. Dan went, you know, with his team, built a product that was supposedly going to magically sell cars in 20-minute auctions, and you know, oh, people will definitely buy them. I mean, that was my big thing, right? They'll definitely buy cars in 20-minute auctions. How do you know? I don't know, right? I mean, I've been doing that, I've been in this space for a long time, and I think they will. I vividly remember, though, Dan and Jack and Ron Schreiber and myself were sitting in one of the conference rooms over there, June 1st, 2015, going around and around and around about, is anybody going to buy the car? What's the right time to list the car? Is 20 minutes really the right amount of time? And I mean, we went around and around for probably an hour, and it was like constructive, I guess, right? We were trying to be. I finally just stood up, and I'm not trying to take credit for it. I said, I'm going to the one dealership that said they would let me try and sell cars. I'm going to see what happens. What's the worst that happens? The app blows up, the car doesn't sell, like, what is the worst thing that, and I went, and I think the first 2 we ran, the push notification weren't turned on, right, so nobody got a ping on their phone, okay, we learned, and then, you know, because we're all like, did it go live, did it go live, you know, and then on the third one, Dan's like, oh, you know, I gotta flip this switch, or whatever you do, man, I don't know, I don't get it, flip the notification switch on, and we sold the car. And I'm like, there you go. works, right? Like, let's leave it. I mean, we haven't, we've changed a bunch of stuff on the product, but core fundamentals, it's still a 20-minute auction. 10,000 cars later, it's still a 20-minute spontaneous auction, and people buy cars. So, like, leave that alone. I mean, maybe 22 minutes is the right time, but I'm not messing with it.
What are your expansion plans? Are you going to be moving outside of New York State? Are there already people on the other side of the country? Tell me about how you plan to expand.
It's spread thin, I will say right now, but so our business is a sales organization. Dan will call it a tech company, I call it an automotive company. It doesn't matter, it's somewhere in between, it's a hybrid. We need people in market right now, and that's what we have. So about half our staff is out in the field, somewhere between right now Boston and all the way down to the panhandle of Florida. So that was a guy that was here today just getting trained. And believe me, we're a little thin, when you get in the southern states, but we'll backfill it. Finding the talent is challenging, so when we got the right guy, we're going to hire the right guy and find a way to make it work. We're definitely staying in Buffalo. I mean, we're a startup New York company, so it's very advantageous for the company from a recruiting standpoint. It's great for the employees. It's an unbelievable program. I'm glad that we're helping them. They're helping us. But no, I mean, we're staying in downtown Buffalo. That's not changing. That's where corporate headquarters will remain for the foreseeable future. There's no reason to change that. We're getting great talent here. So no, I think probably half our company, Dan, does that sound about right? Will be here centralized.
If somebody wanted to find out about your job opportunities or what you're hiring for, where does one go to do that?
We post all our positions, get posted onto Indeed. They're on our Facebook. We have an HR recruiting person right now who's phenomenal. But that's where.
Okay,
so you can find one.
So, how has the ACV whole experience changed you as a person for the better?
I'm learning a lot every single day. And only 3 years ago I had my, silly dealership, right? And I was the king of the castle. Not much of a castle, but I was the boss. I always thought that I interfaced really well with everybody else and played nice in the sandbox. But at the end of the day, it was my call, it was my money, it was my show. I think I've definitely learned a lot, and I still have a lot to learn about working with other people. Being open to other ideas. I try really hard. I'm not great at it. So, I think that's the biggest thing. I mean, this whole, the whole world of venture capital, if entrepreneurs knew what it was really like, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but just, it's the big leagues, it's complex. Dan fortunately knows way more about it than I do. I've learned a lot on the fly here, and now we've got George who knows way more, but this is like Shark Tank times 1,000. It's not the cute little startup scene anymore. As soon as you start to have some success, and that's good, that's okay. But I mean, I've just been blown away by the sophistication that's required, the asks of us as entrepreneurs, and it's all good. But it's just, you gotta mature quickly, I think that's the most truthful thing to say.
Wow. So if you were to provide any advice to an entrepreneur who's up and coming and perhaps trying to get into tech, or just entrepreneurs in general, what might you say to them?
Do it, definitely do it, do something, right? But you gotta have thick skin. You gotta be really, really honest with yourself. You gotta be willing to fail and learn from that very quickly and dust yourself off and get right back up. I mean, I've been told ridiculous things now to my face that have humbled me. But you gotta be okay with that, and I still let that stuff bother me too much. just is what it is. You know, people are going to think what they think about you. I mean, I'm honored to even have an opportunity to talk with you guys, and that my opinion is of value. I think that's great, because 2-3 years ago, you wouldn't want to talk to me. I got nothing to say then. You find all that interesting. So no, I mean, my life has been a pretty crazy roller coaster over the past 3 years. And I think, you know, if you got a shot to do this, do it, because at the end of the day, you're just gonna learn, right? Whether ACV becomes a huge success, which I know it will, or it was you know, one of my earlier ventures that really didn't put on. You learn from each of those experiences, and that's all you can do. You just chalk it up to a lesson learned.
So looking back, was there a single decision that contributed to your success more than any other?
I don't know if there was a single decision. I've got a pattern in my life of deliberating about things, making myself absolutely crazy in my head, talking myself in and out of things. I see my wife rolling her eyes because she knows it's right. You know, talking to her, talking to everybody. And at the end of the day, and I take way too long to do it, I'm probably actually faster than most people, but in my own head, it takes way too long, and I spend a tremendous amount of energy. I make a decision, and I stick to my decision. I look back 6 months later, why didn't I just come to that conclusion earlier? I just beat myself up for how long? And it's like, it's those handful of decisive moments. It was closing my dealership in Albany. It was when I was really sick and not getting the care that I needed and thought I was gonna die, like changing, like literally just, I'm not gonna keep doing the same thing. I'm not gonna keep going to the same doctor, right? And going down this path that clearly is looking terrible. I'm done. Cut it off. I'm going a different path. I'm taking a different direction with it. Same thing with when I was at the dealership here in Buffalo. This is not for me. I thought it was. I thought, hey, I'll work a 9 to 5. I'll be a normal guy. It's going to be good. It's going to be good for my family life. Oh my God, I couldn't even muster up the strength to go into work every day. I hated it so much. I was just like, that's not for me. Now, I mean, I was in a fortunate position where I had some money in the bank, but nobody gave that to me. I mean, that was my savings that I had amassed from my dealership when I cashed out of that, and that's honestly what we used to. I was paying Dan, I was paying developers, I traded a car to Dan for more work. I mean, like we did right. Still runs too. It was a good car. So yeah, I mean, you got to make decisions and you got to stick with them. I think that is the telltale thing.
So is there an app besides the ACV app that you use the most? What is the app that you use?
Yes, Craigslist and eBay, looking at so I deleted Facebook off my phone, that was liberating. But now beyond that, I'm a little weird in the sense that I've been told I have like a hyperactive mind, or I overthink, which I'm sure that's all true. People have tried to give me medication for that, I won't take it. But I think it's a good thing, but I have to keep my blinders on and my focus narrow, because otherwise, like, my mind just starts going in different directions. So because of that, like social media, it's just a massive, I know it's a massive distraction for most people. It is an unbelievable massive distraction for me. I don't need it, I'm happier without it. The news, I don't even pay attention to it. The weather, it'll be what it's gonna be, I've got no control over it. I know this sounds like a little nuts, but I don't care about politics right now. I'm not trying to be ignorant. I know I am being ignorant, but it's like, it's out of my control. I'm not gonna go influence what the president's gonna do. So I'm not gonna work myself up about it. I've got an opportunity that's right in front of me right now, that's ACV. And I'm gonna really try and keep my focus on that. Because if I start reading the news, North Korea, and I start getting depressed or feeling like out of control, what good comes from that? You know, if that's what I want to devote my life to, okay, but that's not what I want to devote my life to right now. What I want to devote my life to is my family and making ACV be, you know, like a multi-billion-dollar company in the course of a couple years, which that's a monumental lift that's in front of us. It's an opportunity that's real. But we got to do a lot of things really right in a short amount of time to pull that off. Is that a lot?
That was great.
All right. You got all that, right, Neil? Thanks, buddy.
Okay, what is the most interesting thing that that we wouldn't learn by reading your resume?
I don't have a resume. I've never, you made you one?
Yeah.
I don't know if I ever saw it. There's a bunch of weird stuff about me. I mean, I'm a vegetarian. That wouldn't be on my resume. I don't know, mostly. I feel like I just told you.
You just did.
I don't know. What beyond that? Dan, what's weird about me or most interesting? Or Sarah? I don't know. Go ahead. Well, I don't know. I spend more time with Dan than I do with you. He's my work wife. Yeah, I don't know. I definitely got some. Yeah, those are probably better off.
Sarah could sit in the chair.
You know, I've got some pretty alternative views on health, and that's all just been learned from experience. We don't have to go way down the rabbit hole, but I got really sick with what they call ulcerative colitis, which is like Crohn's disease in my early 20s. It literally almost killed me. So I was down to like 110 pounds. I looked like a Holocaust victim. I was a mess. And that was like a 3 or 4 year battle for survival in my life. So there were some pretty dark days there. You know, because of that, I just have a different, and because of my unique journey through that, where I went the allopathic, conventional route of medicine, and that's what you do, and for a lot of people that works, and for me it did. But I mean that, like, under that care, that kind of type of care at that point in time, I mean, I was really running up against, like, this could very really, realistically kill me. So, I just have found that by doing my own research and taking responsibility for my own health, no, I mean, I went and found a nutritionist who was exceptional and saved my life. So I'm not trying to take all the credit for it, right? I couldn't have hadn't have the knowledge that she had, but just by saying, oh, I got to explore some other options here, running out of time, I think that was a very eye-opening experience. I had the same thing with a business partner right when I was right out of college, my best friend from high school. We were going to be car dealership partners, and because I trusted him too much, and he had no idea what the hell he was doing, even though he told me he did. You know, he ran us in 11 months, ran us $100,000 in the hole. I was completely oblivious to it because I just let him tell me everything was fine, and I was a dope and fell for it. And then he left for Las Vegas and just like completely ghost, right? So there I am left with just an absolute disaster. So like, that stuff wouldn't go on my resume, but those are the kind of situations that I've learned the most from. You know, you learn about people, you learn about owning your situation, right? It's not, I am the most trusting person in the world, still to this day, still to a fault. And I don't really want to change that because I know it leaves the door propped open to getting taken advantage of. I realize that, I get it. I think the upside opportunity though of saying, you know what? Like, Dan and I talked, and I know nothing about building technology, and he seems like a great guy, and he wants to be my partner on this. Let's do it, right? Or I could sit there and go, I'm going to be a control freak over all of my equity of a make-believe company that is worth nothing because it's just an idea in my head, and I don't know about this Dan character, you know, I could do that. Who wouldn't be here? It's the same thing, you know, with bringing George into the company. It's you gotta trust people, but you gotta be eyes wide open. But I'm never gonna stop. I will always be leaning on the side of the spectrum that's a little too trusting. It's just who I am.
So this is actually my last question, and then we're going to open it up. But it is, what do you think Buffalo needs more of?
Doers.
Doers.
But I think Buffalo's doing a lot right now. I mean, I'm new to this area, kind of for the second time, kind of like an expat. But when I was here in college in like 2004, 5, 6, 7, it was okay, it was cool, but like, this is totally different. I would have been eating this stuff up like nobody's business. This is really, really easy to see this going on. So, I think 43 North does a tremendous job. Your sister works her tail off, but everybody there does. They've got me, going and talking at high schools, and I like it, but like, those are the kind of things, and I see these, at the end of meeting with a couple of these classes, one or two kids will come up and like ask me questions. I would have been that kid. I would have been like, I tell them everything, I get you done, I don't even know what I gotta talk about, but you're cool, and like, you're doing neat things. And so, I think that's great because people need, they need to see success happen around them. Success breeds success. So I'm just happy to be, I'm shocked and humbled to be, kind of at the center of this ecosystem, quite honestly blown away. But, I think that that's a really powerful thing to see. I couldn't, ACV didn't get any handouts. Like, I can't make that any more clear. We just got up every day, hit the pavement, went and tried to raise money selling absolute vaporware. I mean, like, that's what we did. Now, Dan, I mean, look, he knew a lot of people. So that was awesome, because I never would have been able to get this off the ground without him. But there's other people that know people, so like, this is not an impossible journey. But, just a year or two ago, or whatever, we were like right there, scrappy, just enamored with a vision, trying to do it. I think that what's been really exciting for me, and I think I'm still answering your question, is that I'm a big believer in communication, basics, right? Like being able to pick up the phone and talk to somebody, being able to like look you in the eyes and not be uncomfortable and have a conversation with you. A lot of people, especially younger people, they don't know how to do it. And they revert back to looking at their phones, and I actually think it's a huge opportunity, because as much as technology is great and everything, the people that actually can maintain some ability to have social interaction are going to be leaps and bounds above the masses who now can hide behind text messages and, well, maybe they'll send an email. You're not communicating with somebody really like sending an email. Like if you're trying to get a job or you're trying to interface with, come on, it's so weak. Like pick up the phone, go meet them. I love face-to-face stuff. If I can hop on a plane and go, the value of that conversation is 100 times more powerful than just over the phone or a text or LinkedIn, email. It's all weak. And we make it too easy to have these weak, lame conversations. Like, I look at LinkedIn and I know it's an extremely powerful tool, but if all you're gonna do is go and email people and connect with them, I got like, I don't know, 3,000 people I'm connected with on LinkedIn. I don't know, 90% of them, there's no connection there. How easy was it for me to click a button and say, oh, I'm connected to that person. They're connected to me. It doesn't mean anything. So, I guess I'm definitely rambling, but what's been exciting for me is we've hired people in our company that probably mostly by luck, but we saw a little glimmer of something in them that like maybe they got a little fight in them. And a few months later, they're like tenacious, like going toe-to-toe, negotiating deals. They've learned an industry. Like try and sell a car to a used car dealer and get them to pay more. Like the life skills that these employees have learned and the negotiating tactics that they've learned kind of just by osmosis and being thrown to the wolves is fascinating, and they're addicted to it. They're making good money, and they love it, and they know now, like, they've got some self-worth. And that's been really neat to see, because it's like, I kind of pick on them for being like millennial kids, and they're only a few years younger than me, and like hipsters and stuff, but like, they're like dodging from the real world, I feel like. And now it's like, no, I need you to go like sell this car for 10 grand to this guy. I know he'll buy it. Oh, Joe, you're making me crazy. Just go do it. Just go. And then they do it, and they're like, that was awesome. I'm like, yes! And then they love it. And it's just like, you've just been so empowered, and you just did it, right? Like you just took control of the situation, and it wasn't a force, it wasn't a bad thing. That dealer wanted to buy that car. He wouldn't have said yes if he didn't want to. But you just helped him, you just influenced him, you like made something real happen. And it's a super addicting thing once you start to do it and start to see that I can push over here and make something happen. I can lean over here, I can have a conversation, and like things come out of that, things grow out of that. I wish more people had those experiences, and they're available all the time. But I think technology works against us in some cases, in a lot of cases, to allow us to hide from those real, meaningful, impactful, transformative conversations. We just go, well, I'll just send a Facebook message. Yeah, you and everybody else. You know what I mean? That was a plan.
That was good.
That was a serious plan.
That was empowering. Let's open it up a little bit. Johnny G up here.
Johnny G.
First of all, over the 2 years that I've gotten to know you, I will say this. I think this is more of a statement than a question. It's more commentary. I think you're emblematic of what this community actually is like. I think your humility is actually very infectious. And I think the one takeaway that I've particularly taken away from you is your unique, almost compelling and infectious ability to be able to comfortable knowing what you don't know and being okay with it. And I think that entrepreneurs, the tech space, or it's always for those people on a platform and things that it's just out of reach. And for me, Joe, I think you're more of like, you look like so many other people. And if they just had the ambition or the drive or the doers, as you mentioned before, that doing spirit, it could happen. And you've been okay not knowing what you don't know and leveraging great resources like Dan and Jack and George and the team that you guys have now been able to assemble. I think it's one of, and by the way, the story isn't over yet. You guys have a long way to go, right? A lot of work in front of you.
Yep.
But imagine if we had 100 of these, or 200 of these, because there's a lot of kids out there that look like you. And I think you're a great role model for those kids to say, I know what I know in my life, and I can do something great with what I know.
Yep.
You knew a lot about cars and the pain points on the buying and selling side, you did something about it, you leveraged great resources to go make it happen. And I think it's cool what you did. So,
Thank you. You got to jump off the cliff and trust that there's going to be a parachute, or jump out of the plane, or however you want to say it. There are resources around, and if there aren't resources, you got to put yourself in an environment where there are resources. When I was in Albany, there might have been resources I didn't know where any of them were. When I came to Buffalo, I was and gave up on the first reason that I came to Buffalo very quickly. I couldn't believe there were resources like there are here. And that was the early days of like Z80. It was first year of 43 North. Dan at the Buffalo News Building, but there was a resource.
and now you're one of the resources.
Now one of the resources. Yeah, I guess so.
You're talking about how like employees at ACV have learned a lot of life skills just from being in the field. Would you say that from being in the auction space yourself before, that there were certain experiences or skills that you learned that prepared you to be an entrepreneur of this magnitude? And if so, what was like the biggest experience or skill?
I always took a lot of risks. I always took risks that they were educated, they weren't bad risks, but they were risks nonetheless. And when you go to these car auctions, and now our company doesn't go to these car auctions, right? Like our goal is to eliminate these car auctions, but the transactions happen on our platform instead. It is just I've probably said this before, but it is the purest form of legalized gambling with your own money or borrowed money or however you're doing it. You're buying cars in seconds, and you do the best you can, but you make a ton of mistakes. It's unbelievably fast paced, and I think there are a lot of skills or knowledge that comes from that, and a lot of it's just like a survivalist mentality, which is okay, I screwed up really bad there. What am I going to do? Cry about it? Like, it's going to cost me a couple grand. Can't tell you how many times I've said that, but like, you just got to focus on, I'm going to make it back on the next one. I'm going to keep moving forward, and you know, being the average used car dealer is in business for 3 years. I managed to do it for about 15. It's a grind, and the odds are against you. Quite frankly, the entire world is against you. Like, it's probably not a worse thing you could say than I'm a used car dealer. Society hates you. Everyone hates you. So it's just tough. You know, the environment in which you buy the cars, the consumers and the laws and protections that the consumers have are really challenging. And you're selling someone else's damaged goods. I mean, like, if I buy a 100,000-mile car to go and resell, I don't know how that car was treated for 100,000 miles of use. So, I don't know. I think I just got like the accelerated education on swim really fast and try and keep your head above water.
Yep.
I guess what I've been interested from your strategy and business ideas is how you've balanced the value that's in cars that are almost been in the South since inception. You kind of look into the brutal weather that we face on a daily basis over in this area. Cars that are sourced from over in that area. How much value they are in comparison. Coming from experiencing a year just sitting in a lot over in this area. How that's almost impacted you or your thoughts in that area?
The unique thing about the car business and this wholesale automotive space is there's no set value for any particular vehicle. So if it's a Southern car with no rust, for a buyer in Buffalo who's experiencing a lot of rust and that's a pain point, maybe he'll pay a big premium, maybe it's too much of a premium and it's not worth it. There's a lot of pressure in the industry right now to try and commoditize these things, these cars. It's my belief that once the car is more than 3 or 4 years old, it's not a commodity. If they're very new, yes, very standardized pricing. But once you start getting into the slightly older inventory, some more miles on it, it is, as much as there are a lot of tools now to help value cars, it still takes buyers to commit money to value an asset. And like, you can talk all you want, and this is kind of a silly little industry thing, but when you're trading in a car, the talk at the dealership is, they said Kelly Blue Book is $10,000. Well, Kelly Blue Book doesn't write a check, right? It still takes someone to pony up and buy that car and value that car. And that's why we have an opportunity, because this industry isn't commoditized, and we really believe that creating an environment like the physical auctions have that has a competitive nature to it, that's how you extract the maximum value out of these assets. And it's not limited to just cars, it's just a space where unfortunately has 20 million cars a year, and that's enough, and I know it well, and we can operate in that space. But you talk about Southern cars, I mean, there's buyers down south that want Northern cars because they're cheaper. Because they're edgier, they're rougher cars. Well, if they can get it, recondition it a little bit, and still think that they have a competitive advantage, God bless them. And that's the beauty of this. There's no right or wrong answer. Whatever you guys think it's worth, now go duke it out,
We've got one more. Anybody?
Sure. You mentioned before listening to the Ferrises and the Robins, and then also talking about, tell me about the line between having a thick skin, right, sticking to the decisions you make, and the whole listening to other people and working out with others and actually taking feedback. Because I know most people don't. It's either they fly in one camp or the other. They don't know how to not be impacted, but still actually hear what's being communicated. So where do you find the line, and what can you recommend to folks who might be on one side or the other?
It's a really tough balance, I would say. Still have room for improvement there for sure. I think as far as the having thick skin goes, it's just, I tend to get knocked off course when people say certain things. And so I know that, again, I'm using this as an opportunity to hold myself accountable, is an area of growth for me. But yeah, it's a total balancing act. I'm probably not going to answer your question very well, and I apologize for that. But I think you gotta filter out a lot of noise, and that's part of probably the thick skin. Is a lot of the stuff that could knock me off course is completely meaningless jargon. It's nonsense. It doesn't even. It's somebody spewing off, or it's me interpreting something because I heard this much of the conversation, and it's a waste of time and energy. But you know, if you're getting input from, if I'm getting input from Dan, or if I'm getting input from George, or if I'm getting direct input from one of the people on my team that reports to me with something that they're like, hey Joe, I gotta talk to you about this. That's not noise. That's like, okay, time to really, you know, turn on my ears and lose my ego and listen. So, I guess they are two different things. I think you just need to be able to identify who gets put in the category of, like, their input is very valuable, and who gets put in the category of, and maybe it's not a person so much as, like, the news in general, right? Like, okay, I'm gonna kind of turn that on, right? I'm gonna have thick skin when it comes to that. I'm not gonna let the news knock me off course. I'm not gonna let my Facebook feed knock me off course, right? But when it comes to my family or my close coworkers, like, yeah, that stuff I'm gonna really pay attention to, and I'm gonna try as hard as I can to be very open-minded.